Hello, everybody. Hope y'all are doing good out there. The other day I got to thinking, and I was thinking about the last 10 knives that I had picked up. And I find that interesting sometimes to sit down and to look at the last 10 knives you bought, because sometimes you'll see a theme. Sometimes it'll be a particular pattern, sometimes it'll be a particular handle, sometimes it'll be a particular seller. You may have been buying them all from one place or from another. And so I thought it was kind of interesting, so I picked out the last 10 ones in the order that I'd gotten them, and I looked them over, and I thought it would make a neat video to look at the last 10 knives that I picked up, and I wanted to ask y'all the question, what were the last 10 knives that y'all picked up? Now, the reason why I chose 10 is because I've got this little knife case, and it holds 10 knives, and so I thought that would be a good number. But we're going to take a look at each of these knives and consider kind of why I picked them up, where I picked them up, and some interesting information about them. So before I buy any knife, there's 4 questions that I always ask myself. The first question is, do I have the money to spend? You certainly don't want to buy something you can't afford. If you don't have the cash for it, if you can't just buy it, I don't buy it. So always ask the question, do I have the extra money to spend to buy this knife? And if I don't have the extra money to spend, I don't buy it. We always got to be mindful of that. Never spend more money than you have. The second thing I always consider before I buy a knife is the simple question, would I carry the knife? Would I carry the knife? I'm not somebody who buys a lot of knives that they will not carry. If I don't think that I would carry the knife, I usually don't buy it. I say usually because I'm sure there's a few exceptions, but as a general rule for myself, I don't buy a knife I won't carry. If I'm not going to carry it, I'm not going to enjoy it. If I had a fancy stag-handled case trapper and it was in pristine condition, I would trade that knife for an amber bone case trapper with some pitting on the blade, simply for the reason that I would carry the one where I'd be scared to carry the other because of its value. So I always ask the question, would I carry the knife? Now, I do have some nicer knives, like some pearl knives and so on, but I do carry those. I put them in a slip, and I will carry them with me when I go to church and when I'm dressing up a little bit or something like that. But so I do carry those, but I always ask the question, would I carry this knife? The third thing I always ask is, would it fit the collection? That's an important question, would it fit the collection? Because when I display my knives, I have them all laying out together there, and sometimes there's a knife that'll fit a collection great, like these red pocket-worn knives. I've got a few of them. If I find another knife that's a good deal that I like in red pocket-worn, I'll probably buy that one because it'll fit the collection well. Where sometimes you'll find some kind of handled case that simply won't fit my collection at all. It would stick out or it would look funny. It just wouldn't fit in it right. And if I think it won't, I usually don't buy it. So I always consider, would it fit in the collection? Now that, of course, is completely subjective. Everybody's idea of what fits in their collection is going to be different. Then the fourth thing I always consider is, could I get my money back out of it? I don't like to buy a knife that I don't believe I'll be able to get my money out of it. If it's got such a high price on it, even if I really want it, if I don't think I'll be able to get that much money back out of that knife, I usually do not buy it. Now, there might be a few exceptions. But usually, if I do not believe I can get my money back out of the knife, I don't buy it. And those are the 4 things I always consider. Can I spend the money? Would I carry the knife? Would it fit the collection? And can I get my money back out of it? That being said, these are the previous 10 knives that I've picked up over the last few months. This is 3 or 4. I guess it goes back 4 months. This is the knives from the past 4 months or so. Now, when we look at these, we can divide these out into a few categories. Out of these 10 knives we have here in this case, 7 of them I got used. You all know I prefer used knives over new ones, and I only buy new if I have to. But 7 of these knives were used. 3 of these knives were new. So 7 used, 3 new out of these 10. Beyond that, 4 of these knives come from a pawn shop. 4 of these knives were a pawn shop find. 2 of these knives come from a trade. So 2 of these knives I got from a trade. All of the new ones that I did buy that we see in this case, every one of them I got at least $10 to $25 off of normal price. I did buy them new, but they had a really steep sale on them, and that's why I bought them. I did not pay full price for any of these knives, even the ones that I did buy new. And again, I did buy 3 of these new. And then lastly, I did get one of these knives at a knife show. And so that is kind of the breakdown. 7 used, 3 new, 4 from a pawn shop, 2 I traded for, and 1 at a knife show. If y'all want to, comment down in the comments which one of these knives you think I got new and which ones do you think I picked up used. Which ones you think I traded for. Those of you who've watched the videos could probably get these questions pretty clear. Which knife do you think is what? But now, let me rearrange the camera here and we'll take a look at each one of these knives in particular. So this is the order that I picked these knives up in. We'll begin by taking a look at the knives that I picked up new. So the first one of these knives that I picked up new is this Case Red Bone Tiny Toothpick. The reason why I picked this up is because I always liked the red bone, and I ran across this one. It was about $20 cheaper than it usually runs, and it was brand new. You can see that it's got just beautiful bone on it. And this is a great little knife. If you're just looking for a small knife, I find that small knives work especially well when you pair them with something like a Leatherman. Now, this one right here, what did I do to it? Well, when it came, it was in really good shape. The only thing that I noticed kind of strange about it was the bolster here had just a little bit of a point on it, and I sanded that off and buffed it up. There wasn't nothing wrong with it, but I usually end up buffing my knives anyway when I get them brand new. I'm just kind of odd that way. I like them to have my touch on them. But this was the first new knife I bought out of these. And like I say, I bought it because I got a really good sale on it. Plus, it's just a beautiful knife. And it's got that deep, beautiful, lush red bone on it. And it's a really beautiful knife, that's for sure. The second new knife I bought is that knife's cousin. And that is this red bone peanut right here. And it's red. It has a little more blue in it. And I think you all know what I mean when I say that some of Case's pocket-worn knives, their red pocket-worn, has almost like a blue tinge, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The camera don't quite do it justice. Again, these old red-worn, pocket-worn knives have what's known as a corncob jig. But this is the peanut. Y'all will know that watch this channel. The peanut's one of my favorite patterns. It's just a great all-around slip joint, and I like it a lot. This knife right here didn't have a bit of anything with it that I had to do, although I did go ahead and buff it up, polish it up, shine it up, and sharpen it up. But Case's sharpening skills, they've really improved in my own experience over the last year or so. I'm not having to do near as much sharpening on them as I used to have to do. But this is a beautiful knife. And also, I meant to say it on this one right here. You can see the tang stamp on this one. This one right here is a 24. This one right here is a 23. I just got it recently, but it had been, I guess, it had been made for a while and sitting in a warehouse somewhere. But again, I got this one for like $20 off of going price. and that's why I wanted to pick it up. And it's a beautiful knife. I really like the peanut, and the thing that makes the peanut to me so versatile for a small knife is that blade right there. You got your big clip blade for your reach, and then you've got this little blade for your heavier tasks. It's a strong, sturdy little blade, great tip on it, great edge, nice half stops. Y'all know I really, really appreciate the peanut pattern. And so that was the second new knife I picked up. And there was about, I guess there was about 3 months between the purchase of these two knives. So I didn't buy them back to back or nothing. But they do both fall into the last 10 knives I picked up. And then the last new knife I picked up is this peanut right here, this gum fuddy peanut. Case is rough black synthetic, and I did a video on this one, and I've been putting it in YouTube shorts just because I like it so much. It's a beautiful knife to carry, feels good in the hand. I love the history to it. It's so practical. It's just a great knife. You can see the Tang stamp 2024. This is just a great knife. I can't recommend this one enough, especially if you're looking for a great user knife. It's so simple, it makes it beautiful. It's a great knife. Again, you know I love the peanut pattern. Again, I got this one because it was on sale. I only got this one for about $10 less than usual MSRP, usual dealer prices. The usual price you'll find if you go to Shepherd Hill or go into a hardware store. This was $10 cheaper. And I already had the Sodbuster Jr. to match it, and I've wanted the peanut version, and I ran across this one, and I like it a lot. It's a great little knife, and I've been carrying it more than any of these other knives here. I'm trying to remember. I may have centered the blade slightly on this one. It was not rubbing, but if I remember right, I think it was off to one side a little bit, so I think I took care of that, but I'm not positive. This is a great knife. I like it a lot. So those right there are the 3 new knives that I picked up. Now let's take a look at the used knives I picked up. We'll look at the knives out of the used knives I've got, we'll look at the ones that were pawn shop finds first. So out of the last 10 knives I got, the oldest one I got from the pawn shop, it's going to be this one right here. This is a Case Caribbean Blue saw cut. And you can see a little bit of saw cut there on that bone if you get the angle just right. But the back side has a lot more. I liked the contrast between the two sides, and I thought it was just beautiful. This one was used at a pawn shop, and it was in good condition, but it needed a lot of polishing and shining up. And I got this one for a real good price. Again, I got it for about $25 less than this knife would go when it was new. You can see it's basically never been used. Let me wipe that blade off there. I got fingerprints on it. There you can see this is a 2019. And I did the normal drill with this one, buffed it up and sharpened it up. This is a really nice knife. Again, you'll notice it's another peanut. I really like the peanut knives. I find I carry them very often. But yeah, this is just an absolutely great little knife, and I picked that up at a pawn shop. Now, I didn't get all these knives from the same pawn shop, but I got them from a pawn shop here, there, or somewhere else. But this is the first one, this Caribbean Blue peanut. I really like this knife. The next knife I picked up from a pawn shop in another town, and that is this medium jack right here. I'd been wanting one of these for a while. I've got some good friends who carry these, and some relatives who carry these, and I almost bought one once at the pawn shop I ended up getting this one from, but I didn't end up doing it because it had the older 1980s Case badge when they had the more rounded badge that said XX on it, and it was similar to their pewter badges. You all know what I'm talking about, but those stuck up a little bit above the side of the handle, and they were raised up, and I didn't like the way it felt. And so I didn't get that one, and I somewhat regretted it. But then I went to another pawn shop in another town. This is the third pawn shop in this story. And he was a dealer, and he had these for $47 out the door. I think it was out the door. And I thought about it, but I was saving up to buy that Leatherman Bond. And so I said, nah, I'm going to pass on it. But I was still keeping an eye out for one of these, and I always prefer used, and I found this one at another pawn shop. They had just got it in. It was in a case. I was looking through the case. It was there. No price on it. The guy asked me to give him a price on it. I gave him a fair price, the proper price. He accepted, and I paid him for it. But it needed some work. The blade was a little bent. I had to straighten out the blade. I'm talking about the main clip blade. The blade was a little bent, so I had to straighten it out. Got that done. I've got a video on the restoration of this one. The tip was proud, sticking out of the handle, so I had to reprofile the tip of the pin blade. Get that looking like it's supposed to be, and then just clean everything up. And this is a great user knife, the 087 medium jackknife. I really like it a lot. It's just great. As for year, this one right here, as you can see, 2004. Great knife. I'm happy to have it. And I got it for, again, about half price of when they're new, which is a good deal for this one. I like the character it has. The next used knife I picked up was at the pawn shop I picked up the Caribbean Blue Peanut from. I went in there and they had this. It was covered in tape, covered in stickers, dirty, not been cleaned. The bone had no sheen on it, was completely dull, but I saw through its condition. And whenever you look at a knife like this, what I'm looking for is if the blades are all there and whether they've been sharpened down or bent. And everything like that looked perfect on this knife. And so I knew I could bring it around, and I bargained with them. Got this one for an absolutely great price. This knife was like $36, which is an amazing buy for an 18 pattern Stockman. I believe this is the burnt indigo. It's a beautiful knife. Got that arrowhead shield on it. Look at the bone on it. I did a lot of buffing and cleaning and sharpening on this knife, but I'll tell you, it's a beautiful knife. It's one of the prettiest in the collection, and it's a great carrying knife, great using knife. And this is a 2018 model. $63.18, a classic medium Stockman, stainless steel. This was a great knife, and I was so happy when I found this one. The next knife from a pawn shop that I picked up was this one right here. Now, there was a huge gap. There was like a 2-month gap or so, I believe, if I'm remembering right, between that last Stockman and this knife. I got them from the same pawn shop, but there was just a lot of time in between the two. Maybe it was only about a month. It was quite a bit of time, though. They were not back to back. But this one was the same story. It had stickers all over it, tape all over the blade where it had been used to cut through a box or something. Needed a lot of polishing and cleaning. And again, the price was right, right around $30. That price is right for a blue bone toothpick because they run $50-something. So I got it and did a lot of shining and polishing on it. I put a video up showing cleaning this one also. You can see the year on it. It's 2008. Now, I need to look through the collection, but I don't believe I have any other case knives in the collection from 2008. But you can see the blade is all there. I've got some, again, fingerprints on it. But the blade's all there. It just needed polishing, and it polished up beautifully, along with the handle and the bolsters. Again, the toothpick, by the way, I don't think I said it on the first red one. It's a 096 pattern. But that right there is a beautiful knife. I centered the blade a little bit, sharpened it, and polished it up. And that's a beautiful knife for the collection. And so that was the last pawn shop knife that I picked up. Now let's take a look at the knives that I've traded for. Out of these 10, I traded for 2 of them. The first one I traded for is this peanut right here. It's beautiful gray bone peanut. I believe it's a peach seed jig, and I believe it's pocket worn, although I might be wrong on that. It may not be a pocket worn, but especially the back of this knife is absolutely beautiful. I traded with a good friend of mine for this knife. You can see the year right here. It's 2020. The only thing even slightly wrong with this is there's a little etch in the blade there where some battery acid had gotten on it. And you can see that down here on the brass. There's a little bit of discoloration, but that's no problem at all. That don't hurt the knife a bit. But it's just an absolutely beautiful little peanut, and I was happy to have it in the peanut collection, because as y'all know, I really like these peanut knives. You can still get a knife very similar to this one. The only difference is, instead of a black blade, it's going to have a red blade. Now, I do not know if the jigging's the same. I'd have to research that. But they still have a gray bone peanut. Again, just a really nice knife. So that's the first one I traded for, and I did a video on the trade. And then the second one I traded for, I just did here recently, and it's the last knife that I picked up, is this Mother of Pearl Eisenhower. Again, this was another great friend I have, and we did a trade. I traded him, you all will have seen it in the videos, I had a mini copper lock that had denim bone handles on it, and that I had traded to him for that one a while back. Then we traded back, and got this Pearl Eisenhower. This is a beautiful knife. Some people like Mother of Pearl knives, some people don't. I like them. They're extremely beautiful, but they're a church carry to me. I put them in a leather sheath and take them to church when I go, something like that. But this is a 1996. And this one had a lot of tarnish on the bolsters, so I just buffed the bolsters, and also the pearl was oxidized like it does. So I took that off, buffed that off, polished it all up. There you can see the pattern number 08263. This is what they call the Case Eisenhower. Beautiful knife. I also touched up the blades just a speck. They didn't need much, but this right here is a beautiful, beautiful knife to join the pearl collection. And that was the last knife I traded for. We only have one more knife to look at, and that's the knife from the knife show. So this is the knife that I picked up at the knife show. This is a 2001 Case Butterbean. Now the Butterbean is a small canoe, 32132 CV. This one's getting a nice patina on it. Got your little bitty pen blade on one end. A canoe is a pen knife. Then you have your larger spear blade on the other end. But yeah, look how nice that patina is coming along. Oh, it's looking really nice. And I like the yellow Delrin, y'all will know that. I also like carbon steel blades, and I found this knife for the right price. And these knives are pretty rare, I believe. You don't see many of these yellow Butterbeans with carbon steel blades. And so I picked this up at the knife show. So if y'all want to, comment down below what are some of the last knives you've picked up, or other of y'all YouTubers out there. Make us some videos showing us some knives that you picked up recently and where you got them, and some details like that. I think it's interesting to look at my own collection and see what I picked up, where I picked it up, and why I picked it up, whether I bought it new, used, traded for it. It's kind of interesting. That's some of the fun about knife collecting. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a good day. Keep your knives sharp.